Okay.
Governor, I want to ask you, why are you lying to this committee?
I am not
Who's the top law enforcement officer in the state of Minnesota?
the top law enforcement
Yep.
officer. Attorney General.
Yeah, that's right. What's his name? What's his name?
Are you asking me, do you know his name?
Do you know his name? Do you know his name?
I know the AG Ellison.
This is an article right here I'd like to submit for the record. Minnesota AG says will not enforce federal immigration laws as DOJ threatens to prosecute officials who resist.
Without objection to ordered.
Why are you lying to this committee? That is the top law enforcement officer in your state who's saying he will not comply with the federal government.
Nothing in his opinion changes the fact that state law requires all state and county officials to ask for immigration status when a convicted felon is
No,
committed.
I'm sorry, Governor. He is saying he will not.
Hearing live, you probably felt the temperature in the room change instantly. No speeches. No grandstanding introductions. Just a simple, direct accusation from a sitting member of Congress to a sitting governor. Why are you lying to this committee? That question cuts to the core of why these hearings exist in the first place. Not for sound bites, not for viral clips, but to establish whether elected officials are telling the truth under oath. And once the receipts start coming out, past statements, official actions, and public comments, it becomes less about politics and more about credibility. Now let's walk through exactly what happened.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Walz, you stated in your opening statement the following: but nothing Minnesota has done stands in the way of federal government managing its border security policy.
Okay.
Governor, I want to ask you, why are you lying to this committee?
I am not
Who's the top law enforcement officer in the state of Minnesota?
the top law enforcement
Yep.
officer. Attorney General.
Yeah, that's right. What's his name? What's his name?
Are you asking me, do you know his name?
Do you know his name? Do you know his name?
I know the AG Ellison.
This is an article right here I'd like to submit for the record. Minnesota AG says will not enforce federal immigration laws as DOJ threatens to prosecute officials who resist.
Without objection to ordered.
Why are you lying to this committee? That is the top law enforcement officer in your state who's saying he will not comply with the federal government.
Nothing in his opinion changes the fact that state law requires all state and county officials to ask for immigration status when a convicted felon is
No,
committed.
I'm sorry, Governor. He is saying he will not comply with federal laws. That's your top law
Nothing in this
enforcement
opinion
officer.
changes how
You're
he-
lying and misrepresenting yourself to this committee. Now I want to ask you this. Do you think in that line of questioning, free health care, food assistance, free college tuition, driver's licenses, and cash assistance, do you think that that's helping or hurting this government manage its border security and policies?
Well, Minnesota ranks first in health care. We rank third in safety on our roads.
Let me answer that for you. It's actually hurting because what
It's
you've
making my state
created
safer
is
and more
you've created a
prosperous.
state that is now a magnet that is
There's
drawing
no law.
illegals
There is no sanctuary
to
law in
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Congress.
I know you guys haven't put it that way on the books, but your state has everything, every element in it that is consistent with the sanctuary state.
That's
Moving
incorrect.
on, Mr. Walz. How about you calling ICE agents modern-day Gestapo? That also stands. Do you think that helps our federal government carry out its law enforcement?
I think best
border
practices in law
security
enforcement by
policies?
identifying who you are, identifying the vehicles, and making sure everyone has due process helps our law enforcement. I think covering your faces.
So you think that
rolling in there-
you think that helps calling our law enforcement agents that? What does ICE stand for, Governor? Immigration, Custom Enforcement, right? These are the guys that are tasked with enforcing immigration, federal
That's right,
immigration laws.
federal, that's their job. It's
So
not
you
the
think that
state's job.
calling them Gestapo is helping? You're not standing in the way. None of the messaging, none of the rhetoric is standing in the way of this administration doing what they've been tasked to do. Is that what you're saying?
I think what would help them is to follow due process, and when they do these missions, do the things that we expect of law enforcement.
How about when you
Identify
went on
yourself.
Anderson Cooper, Governor Walz, and you said, how high is this wall? If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in a 30-foot ladder factory. Do you think that helps our federal government carry out its law enforcement, its border security and policy operations?
When did I say that?
You went on Anderson Cooper and said that. Do you not remember saying that? Because you've said so many outlandish things that you
No, I
can't
don't
even
recall.
keep track of them?
The point being is
The
that you
clip
need
is there
more
for
than-
everybody. It's there for all Americans. If you guys want to go watch it, it's an easy Google. All right, Governor, you recently went on Gavin Newsom's podcast. You stated in regards to MAGA voters, I scare them a little bit, which is why they spend so much time on me. No, I'm serious because they know I can fix a truck. That's your direct quote. You also said on the show, I think I could kick most of their asses. I want to be very clear with you, Governor. You do scare us a bit, but it's not because you can fix a truck or change a tire. It's actually because of your radical left-wing agenda. You supported putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. You advocated for the disarming of Americans of their Second Amendment rights. You're pro-sanctuary city, as we have uncovered here today. You claim there is no guarantee to free speech when it comes to misinformation and hate speech. That right there is why the American people have such a hard time with you. It's not because we're crazy MAGA people. It's because of your radical left-wing agenda. I want to ask you on that last one where you claim there's no guarantee to free speech. Did you pick that up on one of your 30 trips to communist China, Governor? That sounds a lot like something that they would do. Yes or no?
So I don't believe hate speech
Okay.
has a place in there. Hate speech that incites violence.
Governor Walz, you said that Kamala Harris picked you for vice president to code talk to white guys. How did that work out for this administration? How well did you do with white guys?
I don't have the
You
data.
lost by 22 points to white guys. And it's because you talk like the way you do, you say the things you do, and you have this radical left-wing ideology. So if you want to continue that rhetoric, go on, brother. Keep doing it. We'll keep destroying you in elections.
And the
Thank
people
you, and
of
I
Minnes-
yield back.
The people of Minnesota will continue to have me serve them.
Chair recognizes Mr. Ramirez.
This exchange centers on Governor Tim Walz's claim that nothing Minnesota has done interferes with the federal government's ability to enforce immigration law. On its face, that's a very clean statement. The problem, as Congressman Eli Crane immediately points out, is the public record. Crane starts by identifying the top law enforcement official in Minnesota, Attorney General Keith Ellison. He then introduces a statement from Ellison explicitly saying Minnesota will not enforce federal immigration laws and warning the Department of Justice against prosecuting officials who resist. That's not a partisan blog post. That's the Attorney General of the state on record. Walz tries to pivot by arguing that state law still requires cooperation in certain felony cases. But that doesn't address the central issue. If your Attorney General publicly refuses to comply with federal immigration enforcement, the idea that the state is not standing in the way simply doesn't hold up. That's why Crane repeatedly accuses Walz of misrepresenting reality to Congress. From there, the conversation widens. Crane points to Minnesota's extensive benefits offered to illegal immigrants, including health care, tuition assistance, driver's licenses, and cash programs. His argument is straightforward. Regardless of whether the word sanctuary appears in statute, these policies function as a magnet. Walz rejects the label, but Crane argues that the effect matters more than the branding. The hearing gets even more pointed when Crane brings up Walz's past rhetoric, referring to ICE agents as modern-day Gestapo and joking about building ladders to get over border walls may play well on cable news. But Crane argues that it actively undermines federal law enforcement. Walz responds by framing his comments around due process and accountability, but never directly disavows the statements. Crane then shifts to Walz's comments about MAGA voters, including remarks about intimidating them and being able to kick most of their asses. This is where the confrontation becomes less about policy and more about worldview. Crane makes it clear that conservatives aren't concerned because Walz can fix a truck, but because of what he calls a radical left-wing agenda. He cites Walz's positions on gender ideology in schools, gun rights, sanctuary policies, and speech restrictions, particularly Walz's assertion that free speech is not guaranteed when it comes to misinformation or hate speech. Crane frames that position as fundamentally un-American and even compares it to authoritarian systems abroad. The exchange ends with a sharp political reality check. Crane points out Walz's poor performance with white voters and argues that it's not messaging, but ideology that's driving the rejection. Walz, for his part, remains defiant, insisting that Minnesotans continue to support his leadership. Whether you agree with Crane or Walz, one thing is undeniable. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a direct collision between recorded statements and sworn testimony. And moments like this are exactly why congressional hearings matter. If you appreciate clear-eyed breakdowns of what actually happens in Washington, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, And share this with someone who still believes these debates are just about tone and not truth.